267-495-4866 or DougKarnsProgram@gmail.com. That's how you get in touch with me. I'm here with Joe Balcom. And we're back in the final segment. And I think it's time to have a little laugh here, Joe.
Not that we haven't already.
Exactly. We've been having a good time all night. Let's since last time we met, the Republican debate happened, and Rick Perry had a forgetful moment.
A little bit.
Just a little bit, tiny bit.
About 54 seconds worth.
Oh, 54 seconds. Long seconds for Rick Perry.
It's the longest minute of his life.
All right, let's play it right here.
It balances the budget in 2020. It does the things to the regulatory climate that has to happen. And I will tell you, it's 3 agencies of government when I get there that are gone. Commerce, education, and what's the third one there? Let's see.
You need 5.
Oh, 5. Okay. So commerce, education, and
EPA?
EPA.
That's it. Oh, wait, no, it's not.
Let's talk deposition.
Seriously? Is EPA the one you were talking about? Or?
No, sir. No, sir. We were talking about the agencies of government. EPA needs to be rebuilt. There's no doubt about that.
But you can't name the third one?
The third agency of government, I would do away with the education, commerce, and let's see. I can't. The third one I can't. Sorry. Oops.
What about?
Oh, Rick Perry. There was so much hope behind you, and
that was painful.
Even
for me.
It is.
I don't care who you are. If you hate this guy with a passion, you still have to just put yourself in his shoes. You got to feel bad.
Oh, I mean, he for lack of a better term, he had a brain fart. I mean, he just
a little bit.
And they get coached so much that they get put all this information in their head, and they're just bound to lose track of it every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you can lose track of.
Yeah, I mean,
of that.
Yeah,
but
I think that would be 3. If you actually really believed it, that would be 3 things that I could tell you. You know, like, I don't know why it's so hard. Let's just relive it again.
Let's talk deposition.
Seriously? Is EPA the one you were talking about? Or?
No, sir.
No, sir. No. Actually, no. I was wrong on that. No.
Agencies of government. EPA needs to be rebuilt.
Yep. EPA has to be rebuilt.
Name the third one?
The third agency of government, I would do away with the education, commerce, and let's see. I can't. The third one I can't. Sorry.
Energy is.
What about the EPA?
Energy is one of the biggest problems in our country. How do you forget about that?
I know. We are the most dependent on oil, and it's the biggest, like you said, biggest issue in this country, and you can't remember it.
Man, I used to be a Perry guy back when he first threw his hat into the race.
That lasted for what, a day?
Every day I see this guy, I like him less and less.
Yeah. Oh man, Joe. There's 3 things I like about you. You're a nice guy.
Yeah.
You're easygoing.
Yeah.
And the third one is.
Oh come on.
I know this.
Come
I know this.
on.
Oh my gosh. You have nice hair. No, that's not it. That's not it.
Is that really what you meant?
No. Yeah, I mean, your hair is nice, but, you know, whatever. What's the third one?
Yeah.
Oops. Now, Saturday Night Live did a spoof on this, and it's pretty funny. And me and Joe decided to share it with you, and here it is.
To Governor Perry.
Hey, Marie, before I start, I want to say I know I've had some trouble in past debates, but tonight I'm feeling good. I think I'm really going to nail it.
All right. With emerging crises in Greece and Italy, what would you do to protect and grow the American economy?
Well, the first thing I would do as president is cut government spending. So when I get to Washington, there are three agencies I cut immediately: commerce, education, and what's the third one there?
This is not Rick Perry, by the way.
Yeah, it sounds just like him, but it's not.
It's
Still hater.
Me. Oops.
But seriously, Governor, what is the third department you'd cut?
Come on, man, I said oops. Okay, I got it. The three departments I cut: education, the commerce, Yeah, why? It's so hard. It's up there somewhere. I can feel it dancing around. Come on. Come on, I know if I heard it.
EPA?
Yep, there it is. EPA. That's it. Thanks, Ron. Hey, how cool is little Ronnie Paul here, huh?
Little Ronnie Paul.
Little birdie arms, huh?
Birdie.
That's it, the EPA. Thank you.
Is it really the EPA?
No, sir. No, sir. I'm trying to think, but my brain is just going.
Hey, you still haven't named the third department.
I didn't? I know it. It's, MARD. That's not a word.
Look, Maria, can we just move on? I mean, I want to be president, but, not like this.
And he says it so well like that. Like, it's just, it's exactly what everybody's thinking at that debate. Like,
Not like this.
like, no. Like, I really want to be president, but not like this.
I don't need your help. Okay, I know. All three now. Ready? Commerce. Oh, God, I only know one now.
Maybe you have it written down in your notes.
Good idea. Yeah. I'm such a messy Marvin. Debates are hard, right, guys? It's the department that does zoos and parades. Might be that? Nope. Start with an M or an X. Is there an X in there, maybe? Is it trains? Trains? No, you can't cut trains. Whatever. Oh, man,
Oh, man. I'm not a big Saturday Night Live fan, but that's
pretty
hilarious. Yeah. So, keeping on the subject of candidates, let's finish out the show with little discussion. Joe, you seem to be a Newt Gingrich guy.
A little
as
bit.
of
He's
late.
my front runner in my book right now. He's just the most complete candidate. I know a lot of people think he's part of the system. He's
And I'd be one of those. I
Yeah.
think like he's just such plugged into it that I almost want to clamor for somebody. I think that's why that like some people we know go for Ron Paul because
somebody we know.
because he is out of the system and like I said, I agree with a lot of Ron Paul says, but his foreign policy needs a little work on, and we're going to jump into it here real quick with Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul.
Mr. Speaker, is this the right way to look at this question, war or not war? Or do you see other options diplomatically or other non-war means that the United States has at its possession with dealing with Iran that it has not employed?
Well, let me start and say that both the answers you just got are superior to the current administration. There are a number of ways to be smart about Iran and relatively few ways to be dumb, and the administration skipped all the ways to be smart.
Could you tell us the smart ways,
sure.
Mr. Speaker?
First of all, maximum covert operations to block and disrupt the Iranian program, including taking out their scientists, including breaking up their systems, all of it covertly, all of it deniable. Second, maximum coordination with the Israelis in a way which allows them to maximize their impact in Iran. Third, absolute strategic program comparable to what President Reagan, Pope John Paul II, and Margaret Thatcher did to the Soviet Union, of every possible aspect short of war, of breaking the regime and bringing it down. And I agree entirely with Governor Romney. If in the end, despite all of those things, the dictatorship persists, you have to take whatever steps are necessary to break its capacity to have a nuclear weapon.
Congressman.
All right, so basically, I like what he's saying here, that you do it the best way you can without, starting any kind of conflict or, if you can collapse them economically or put pressure on them or whatever. But then he also says at the end there, listen, you got to do what you got to do at some point.
At some point, yeah.
And I think that's the right way of going.
And a lot of the things he says, it makes perfect common sense. That's what gets to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like he's very good with foreign policy, with the economy. Herman Cain, he's number 2 on my list.
Yeah.
He's very good with the economy.
Oh,
he knows
really
his stuff.
Yeah.
He's a little bit shaky on foreign policy, but I like common sense. Not many people do, apparently, but that's what...
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, I like Rick Santorum.
Yeah, he's number 3 on my list.
I guess the biggest thing I hold up to him, just because I think like people hold up to Ron Paul, that he cherishes the Constitution. I mean, the oath of office says, you know, you will protect and serve the Constitution, you know, and they add at the end, so help me God. You know, that's what we're supposed to be doing. These people don't do that. They actually destroy it by putting so much legislation in. But let's move on to Ron Paul here because, you know, we'll see what we like about what he says and what we don't like.
Paul, let me follow up with you for just 30 seconds. Is it worth going to war to prevent a nuclear weapon in Iran?
No, it isn't worthwhile. And the only way you would do that is...
Okay, so he says it's not worthwhile to...
We'll just sit back and wait.
Okay, and he's going to explain himself here. And so we'll let him explain. We'll come back.
You would have to go to the Congress. We as Commander-in-Chief, aren't making the decision to go to war. You know, the old-fashioned way, the Constitution, you go to the Congress and find out if our national security is threatened. And I'm afraid what's going on right now is similar to the war propaganda that went on against Iraq. And, you know, they didn't have weapons of mass destruction, and it was orchestrated, and it was, to me, a tragedy of what's happened these last 10 years, the death and destruction, $4 trillion in debt. So, no, it's not worthwhile going to war. If you do, you get a declaration of war, and you fight it, and you win it, and get it over.
Okay. So let's pick it apart here. I agree with them that I think you need a declaration of war before you start attacking somebody. Unless there's imminent danger of, you know, you know something is coming. You know,
the way Congress is nowadays, you can't just sit there and wait for them to vote on something.
Yeah, you got to congregate them and then inform them of all the intelligence or whatever.
But in any normal circumstance,
yeah.
That's the way to go.
And on the books right now, it says the president has 60 days to prove it. I think it should be a week.
Yeah.
You know, you do the imminent thing, and then you have a week to show all the evidence. And if you don't have enough evidence to prove it, then you have to pull everybody out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not
why.
60 days.
60 days is ridiculous.
Yeah, the week would just give you just enough time for imminent danger. You know, but then he goes on and says, you know, with Iraq. You know, I'm not going to say Iraq was handled perfectly, but we did get a declaration of war for that. I mean, Congress voted that in 2003.
Yeah.
And, you know, so even though we got a declaration of war, we still cause us problems and whatever. So I agree what he says, but also at the same time, it doesn't, you know, guarantee that everything's going to go right and you're going to find weapons of mass destruction and everything.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. A lot of things he says on foreign policy, it's just that he wants to be an isolationist, and I don't agree with that.
Well,
that's what I get out of it.
But that's where we'll kind of disagree. Is that I'm for being an isolationist to a point where I don't want to meddle in anybody's crap unless they're harming us
or our allies.
Or our allies, exactly, and that's about it. Nothing else. Like no. Go and no occupying this. And it's not like we do that, but
I don't like that either. It's just that when there's a imminent threat, it doesn't seem like he wants to.
Yeah, and
he
like
wants
I said,
to be reactive instead of proactive.
We got to go, but he said in 2007, 2008 Republican debate, he said he wouldn't necessarily strike back if we got attacked right away. And it's something that we, leave that on the table.
Yeah.
But that's it for the show this week. We thank you for joining. Joe, we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Bye.